Hi, I'm Mal from the Money Study, bringing you another episode in the Ultimate PSS Education Series. We're up to number 25, and I get this question pretty much nearly every day. I'm talking to clients about their PSS when they finally retire. Should I take a full lump of money? Should I take the full pension? Should I split it? And so it goes on. Before we go into the details, there's the disclaimer, facts and figures. It's information only, and obviously in a topic like this, where we don't know everybody's situation, the answers are going to be totally different for everybody. So this is definitely only information only. This is not advice. So what you just got to need to sort of quantify it a little bit. I think this is where people sort of need to understand almost the future value of things like the PSS pension. In the regard that if you take a pension, let's say at 60, we found out that your pension factor is 11. Now, therefore, the pension is an 11th of the lump of money, 11th of the lump of money. So every year your pension is paying you an 11th of the lump of money that you had at the age of 60. Hence, in 11 years' time, when you're still only 71, and I'll say that's young, I'm not far off it, you've already been paid every last dollar of your lump of money. Now, of course, if you took your pension at 55, where the pension factor was 12, then yes, by the time you're only 67, you would have indeed basically been paid every last dollar of your lump of money. Now, of course, your pension pays for your lifetime. And so in theory, you could live, if you lived instead of 11 years, you live 22 years, which still only bring you up to 82. They've paid you your lump of money twice over. And if you lived until you're 93, they've paid you your lump of money 3 times over, plus all the indexation on it. Now, of course, the flip side is, could you take a lump of money? Could you invest it and have it compound? Because how can money compound if you're pulling money out of it to live on? You see, people say, oh yeah, but I can invest the money and get 8% or 9% or whatever may be the case. But if you are pulling out an 11th, which is effectively 9.1%, if it's pulling out 9.1%, then effectively it's got to be earning more than that for it to still grow. Otherwise it's going backwards. Your lump of money would deplete effectively over time. And of course, in the PSS, we don't have to worry about risk. This PSS pension is indeed indexed, it's guaranteed, and it's payable for lifetime. Now, of course, we still haven't talked tax yet, so we've got to look at these things in net terms. So, but as you can see, just from this short little example here, very, very generous that someone effectively, being the government, is going to offer you a pension that is index guaranteed, payable forever, no fees, minimal tax, literally, and for the day till the day you do indeed drop. But of course, not everybody's in that lovely situation where we are going to live to life expectancy. There's certainly, if you've got a shorter life expectancy due to poor health, or you are indeed taking this thing when you are quite old. And, it just comes down to a number of things here as to whether this is appropriate or not. I did have a lovely gentleman who retired at 71. His benefit was about $1.5 million. He literally said to me, I'm taking that as a lump of money. I'm just going to party till it hurts. He didn't have any family. He didn't have dependents to worry about. And his lifestyle was quite modest. So to him, good luck to him, it's fine. It's just interesting, of course, that this pension, of course, does go to partners, and we'll talk about the percentages and so forth and the rules around that later on. But in theory, a person could indeed have a partner who's 50 years younger. I mean, you could be 110 and marry a 20-year-old, and that would probably kill you. The 20-year-old would indeed pick up a portion of that pension until they are into their hundreds. This thing could pay for 150 years, no problem whatsoever. So quite a generous aspect there. But of course, once you take a pension, you can never, ever take a lump of money out of it. You're on a pension forever. You have given up the lump of money. You've given up flexibility to take a lump of money and go and buy a new car. But of course, if this thing's paying you a reasonable income, and a lot of people in the PSS are walking away with pensions pretty similar to their take-home pay or more, could you afford to save for a new car from the income? Could you afford to even borrow money? And we'll certainly talk about this later on as well. Because you've got guaranteed income forever, I have certainly seen people in their late 60s and so forth still borrowing money from banks because they've got guaranteed income. So it just comes down to this whole business, of what we're trying to do. And if you really are worried about your estate, because you've got this guaranteed income, could you afford to then take out a life policy perhaps that just drops a large lump of money to your non-dependents or things like that? So just, now you can't nominate a beneficiary, and we're going to talk about this, I say again, in when we talk about death and so forth. So, yep, this whole business of if you can't nominate a beneficiary from a pension, in regard, it'll always go to your partner. But if you don't have partners, then of course it comes down to the situation, I really want to make sure this money goes to, a certain person. Then, as I say, we could possibly use insurances as a standalone life policy with them being the beneficiary. It obviously comes down to we don't know what interest rates are going to do. We don't know if interest rates are going to go back to like they were in the 80s, up to 18%. Yeah, gosh, I'd rather have a lump of money earning me 18%, if that was the case. But of course, interest rates don't normally stay there. They cycle from very low to very high. What are they going to do over your lifetime in retirement? I don't know. It just, if you're using it to pay down lumps of money, to pay down debt, certainly if I had a, huge amount of money on a credit card debt paying 23% or something silly, oh gosh, I'd be taking a lump of money to get rid of that in a blink of an eye. Literally to get rid of that, and then I don't have to find the repayments for that amount of money. I wouldn't need as much money in my retirement. So it's just a case of, you've really just got to look at, what's the most likely thing to happen? What are you trying to achieve? And of course, it also comes down to your other situation. If you've already got $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 or whatever it may be sitting in another super fund, or you've got investments, or you've got an investment property, you've got other places you can grab money from. Does it then, the impact of taking a PSS as a full pension is not limiting you as much because you've got more options with your other money. However, if all you've got is your PSS pension, you don't have any other assets lying around, then our decision makes it a little bit harder. Should you indeed then literally just work up until the day and take all your long service leave as a lump of money? And we're going to talk about that in another session as well. So that the lump of money from your long service leave is your fun money stuff, the flexible money stuff, leaving your pension to provide you with your core income. So there's a lot of different ways and different issues. It's not black and white. I must admit, I do think that pension is very generous, but to say everybody should take a pension, no, that's incorrect. It's got to come down to your own situation, what is likely to happen going forward, and we never know that, obviously. But if we base it on what we believe is most likely to happen, for most of you, it's living to your life expectancy, do some numbers. Look at your debt, look at the interest rates, and so it goes on. Just to sort of, and of course, you can always hedge your bets by taking splits and so forth, but remembering that every dollar you give up to take a lump of money, that's one less dollar that you're getting from a pension index guaranteed payable forever. So, it can be a pretty straight, easy choice, maybe a little bit more complicated in your scenario, but please do your numbers, actually crunch some numbers. And if you don't know how to do that, then give us a buzz and we'll help you go through the options for you. Look forward to talking in the next few sessions or so.